A high school student steps into a courtroom to fight for her community's beloved park, facing off against a judge who mocks her youth. But when her powerful words force him to confront his own biases, the case takes an unexpected turn that could change the course of history. Subscribe now to see how a teen's courage sparks a movement and reshapes the future. It was a typical Tuesday morning at the Springfield County Courthouse. The halls buzzed with the chatter of lawyers, clients, and court staff. But in courtroom 3B, something extraordinary was about to unfold. Judge Harold Thompson, a stern man in his 60s with a reputation for being tough but fair, sat at the bench. His gray hair and deep-set eyes gave him an imposing presence. He was known for his no-nonsense approach and had little patience for what he considered theatrics in his courtroom. Today he was presiding over a seemingly routine case, a dispute over a local park's development. The city wanted to build a new shopping center, while a group of residents argued it would destroy the community's green space. It was the kind of case that came across his desk frequently. As the proceedings began, Judge Thompson listened as the city's lawyer, a polished man in a sharp suit, presented his case. The lawyer's arguments were well rehearsed, filled with legal jargon and references to zoning laws and economic benefits. When it was the resident's turn, a young girl, no older than 16, stood up. Her name was Emily Carter, and she was the spokesperson for the community group. Emily was a high school student with a passion for environmental issues. She had spent weeks preparing for this moment, poring over legal documents and environmental impact reports. Emily stepped up to the podium, her hands slightly trembling, but her voice steady. "Your Honor," she began, "we are not just fighting for a park. We are fighting for our future. This development will not only destroy a vital green space, but also contribute to pollution and harm our community's health." Judge Thompson listened, his expression unreadable. He had heard similar arguments before and was skeptical of Emily's youth and inexperience. As she continued, he leaned back in his chair, his arms crossed. Emily spoke with conviction, her words clear and heartfelt. She cited studies on the environmental impact of similar developments and presented data on the health benefits of green spaces. Her arguments were well researched and compelling, but Judge Thompson was not easily impressed. "Miss Carter," he interrupted, his voice dripping with skepticism, "while your enthusiasm is commendable, do you really think you can sway this court with a high school project?" The courtroom was silent. Emily's face flushed, but she didn't back down. "Your Honor," she replied, her voice firm, "this is not a school project. This is a matter of justice. We have the right to a clean and healthy environment, and this development threatens that right." Judge Thompson scoffed, shaking his head. "Justice? You're just a child. You don't understand the complexities of the law." Emily took a deep breath, her resolve strengthening. "I may be young, but I understand that the law is meant to protect all of us, not just those with power and money. This case is about more than just a park. It's about standing up for what's right." The judge leaned forward, his eyes narrowing. "And what exactly do you think is right, Miss Carter?" Emily met his gaze, her voice unwavering. "I believe that every person, regardless of age, has the right to a voice. And I believe that this court has a duty to listen to that voice, even if it comes from someone Your Honor might consider a child." Judge Thompson was taken aback by her eloquence and determination. He had expected a typical teenage rant, but Emily's arguments were well-structured and backed by solid evidence. He realized that this was no ordinary case, and Emily was no ordinary teenager. As Emily concluded her speech, the courtroom was silent. Judge Thompson sat back, his mind racing. He had underestimated her, and he knew it. The case was not just about a park. It was about a young girl standing up for her community and challenging the status quo. The judge cleared his throat, his tone softer now. "Miss Carter, your arguments are impressive. I will take them under advisement." Emily nodded, her expression calm but resolute. She knew she had made her point, and she was determined to see it through. As the court adjourned, the buzz in the hallway was different. People whispered about the young girl who had stood up to the judge and made a compelling case. Emily had captured the attention of everyone present, and her fight was just beginning. Outside the courthouse, Emily met with her fellow community members. They were proud of her and grateful for her courage. But Emily knew the battle was far from over. She had planted a seed, and now she was ready to nurture it into something greater. The days following Emily's courtroom appearance were filled with anticipation and uncertainty. The community rallied around her, organizing rallies and spreading the word about the potential threat to their park. Emily, however, was focused on the next steps. She knew that to win this battle, she needed to keep the momentum going. In the meantime, Judge Thompson was grappling with the decision he had to make. Emily's words had struck a chord with him, and he found himself reflecting on the true purpose of the law. He had always seen himself as a guardian of justice, but Emily's argument made him question whether he was truly serving the community's best interests. One evening, as he sat in his study reviewing the case files, his phone rang. It was a call from an old friend, a retired judge who had mentored him early in his career. They exchanged pleasantries before the conversation turned to the case at hand. "I heard about the case with the young girl," his friend said. "Quite a stir she's causing." Judge Thompson sighed. "Yes, she's impressive, but I'm not sure what to do. The law is clear on development rights." His friend chuckled softly. "The law is a guide, Harold, not a shackle. Sometimes we have to look beyond the letter of the law to see what's right." The words resonated with Judge Thompson. He thanked his friend and hung up, his mind made up. He realized that this case was an opportunity to set a precedent, to show that the law could evolve with the times and serve the people it was meant to protect. The next morning, Judge Thompson arrived at the courthouse with a renewed sense of purpose. As he took his seat on the bench, he looked out at the crowded courtroom. Emily was there, surrounded by her supporters, her eyes filled with hope and determination. The judge cleared his throat and began to speak. "In the matter of the proposed development of Springfield Park, I have carefully considered the arguments presented. While the city has the right to pursue development, it is the duty of this court to ensure that such actions do not infringe upon the rights of the community." A murmur rippled through the courtroom. Emily's heart raced as she listened intently. "After much deliberation," Judge Thompson continued, "I have decided to rule in favor of the residents. The development will not proceed as planned. Instead, I am ordering a comprehensive review of the environmental impact and a revision of the plans to include measures that protect the park and the community's health." The courtroom erupted in cheers. Emily's eyes filled with tears of joy as she hugged her friends and family. Judge Thompson watched the scene, a small smile playing on his lips. He knew he had made the right decision, but the story didn't end there. Emily's case had attracted national attention, and her victory inspired similar movements across the country. Young people in particular were galvanized by her courage and determination. They saw that their voices mattered and that they could make a difference. Emily became a symbol of youth activism, speaking at conferences and rallies, urging her peers to stand up for their beliefs. She worked with environmental organizations, advocating for policies that protected natural spaces and promoted sustainable development. As for Judge Thompson, his ruling marked a turning point in his career. He became an advocate for judicial reform, encouraging his colleagues to consider the broader implications of their decisions. He realized that justice was not just about following the law, but about serving the people and protecting their rights. In the months that followed, Emily and Judge Thompson met several times to discuss ways to promote environmental awareness and youth engagement. Their unlikely partnership became a powerful force for change, proving that when people come together with a shared vision, they can overcome even the most daunting challenges. The Springfield Park case became a landmark decision, cited in legal textbooks and cited as a precedent for future cases. It was a testament to the power of one person's voice and the impact that a single act of courage can have on the world. As Emily stood on the steps of the courthouse, addressing a crowd of supporters, she thought about the journey that had brought her here. She had started as a concerned teenager, and now she was a leader in a growing movement. Her journey was far from over, but she knew that she had already made a difference. And so, the story of Emily Carter and Judge Thompson became a beacon of hope, a reminder that justice is not just a concept, but a living, breathing force that can change the world when we have the courage to fight for it.